We're going to get back to it, but for the moment, we're going to be joining Dr. Saleh Al-Salehi, who is going to be talking to us more. He is a pediatric consultant and a member of the committee of the Saudi Pediatric Society and chairman of this committee as well. So with this, Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Saleh Al-Salehi, and how are you doing?
I'm fine, Assalamu alaikum, and good morning for everybody.
Good morning to you, to Dr. Saleh. We have not had you in the studio for quite a while, so we hope that you're doing good, and inshallah you would be joining us very soon. But for today, as you're joining us via telephone, Dr. Saleh, tell us about the pediatric conference which is to be held at King Fahad Cultural Center, a little bit more about this particular conference.
Okay, this conference is the annual conference of the Saudi Pediatric Association, which is the annual conference. It's general pediatrics focused. The target population are the pediatricians and the nurses and anybody working in the health system with children. This conference was held last week, Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday, and attended by almost 1,000 participants. We had lots of presentations about different pediatric conditions, including cardiac problems in children, infectious disease, and pulmonary, respiratory, and diseases. There was sessions about diabetes and endocrine problems, and there was another session about genetics and metabolic disorders. And there are workshops attended by a small group discussion about respiratory monitoring of children and ECG and X-ray reading for the general pediatricians. So this conference was very rich in the scientific substance. We have close to 24 local distinguished speakers and 3 international speakers who, share their experience with the audience and participants in this conference.
Right. So Dr. Saleh also talked to us about perhaps the few major topics that are going to be discussed within this particular conference this time round, as we see that pediatrics is definitely a world which is truly developing on the highest pace in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia as well. So talk to us about perhaps the few issues which are going to be discussed upon this conference.
Well, this conference, it is already finished. So we discussed in details infections in pediatric age group, and also infections in hospitals, also vaccination of children, what are the new updates, and what are the new vaccines that should be given, and what are the precautions with vaccines, etc. So this was a discussion of intense interest for many general pediatricians and community physicians. Also, there was one of the very distinguished talks about autism, the recent advances in autism research and management. And this session was delivered by international speakers who focused on the early signs of symptoms of autism and how to treat these children. And there are many other conditions and topics that has been discussed thoroughly by the international speakers.
Indeed. So, Dr. Saleh, what we can understand from this is that this annual conference mainly is to bring together all the pediatric practitioners so that they would be able to polish their knowledge by sharing their experiences and by talking about certain aspects of pediatrics, so that more of them are going to be illuminated with the latest and the modern techniques which are going around, and some of the new studies and researches which have been come about.
Yes, that's accurate. In addition to the 2 other values, one is stimulation for general pediatricians to go and read about the latest literature and research, which is very essential to update their knowledge about the new advances in medicine. And the other advantage of meeting the speakers face to face and sharing experiences and interacting and make networking and connections.
Right. And with this, Dr. Saleh, we would really like to thank you for joining us up this morning, and we wish and hope all the very best for you in the future as well. Ladies and gentlemen, we were speaking on the lines of the Pediatric Conference at King Fahd Cultural Center, and accompanying was Dr. Saleh Al-Salhi. He is the Pediatric Consultant and member of the committee of the Saudi Pediatric Society and the chairman of the committee as well. However, with this, we are going to be moving on towards a report in the program, after which we're going to be coming back, so stay tuned.
What are the goals of this event?
This event the goal is to link the pediatrician with the advanced things in pediatric. There is a lot of lecture in this event, and I am sure my colleague, the pediatrician from all over the kingdom who's attend this event, going to get a lot of benefit to update about what's going on in the management of the child health all over the world, and to see if there is any advance as well in the technology.
I want to ask you about the important topics that be discussed in the conference.
Well, this conference is 3 days. The scientific program is divided in between scientific presentations and workshops. The scientific presentations are divided into sessions. Each session will cover a specialty of pediatrics. Like the morning session was about infectious disease in pediatrics, and they discuss many topics in infectious disease like pneumonias, infections, hospital infections, vaccinations, etc. And after that, there will be a session about endocrine diseases and conditions, speaking about diabetes and children who are short, and people who have organ or gland defects and hormonal problems in children. There will be a session about cardiac diseases in children, and they will speak about the diagnostic and therapeutic, the latest diagnostic and therapeutic interventions for cardiac diseases in children. Also, there will be a session about neurological disorders and problems in children, from epilepsy, seizure disorder, management in general. There will be a talk about ADHD, and there will be a talk about neuromuscular disorders. Also, there will be a session about genetic and metabolic disorders, which is common in our country, and speakers will speak about how to diagnose and assess genetic and metabolic disorders, and what are the best therapeutic options, and what are the national initiatives and efforts to early diagnose and treat these conditions. And there will be workshops at the last day speaking about cardiac electrophysiology studies and pulmonary and intensive care management of children, and other workshops. This scientific program is heavy, and it's accredited for 34 hours, and 12 hours will be for the scientific presentations, and 24 for the scientific presentations, and 12 hours will be for the workshops.
Dr. Saleh, from your point of view, what is the main goal of this conference?
This conference is a stimulus for all pediatricians and nurses and other special professionals working with children to update their knowledge, read more, be oriented with the latest medical interventions in pediatric care in general, and improve child health care in general. So they will take the messages from this conference for the latest interventions that has been accredited internationally, and they have to start practicing. And not only that, just they have to go and read about the literature and see how they empower and grow themselves in this sense.
President Abdallah, tell us about the main goal of this conference.
The main goal of the Saudi Pediatric Association, and as such this conference, is the medical education of physicians and other pediatric staff working in the area, whether they are in nursing, technical, laboratory, etc. All of the people working in the field of pediatrics, to give them updated knowledge of methods of diagnosis and treatment and rehabilitation of children. We aim that we deliver in these lectures most updated literature and references supporting evidence-based pediatric medicine topics.
Good morning, KSA. Welcome back. And well, that was our health and medicine report. After which we are back. Now we are going to be speaking about something which, well, nobody really cares too much about, and everybody pretty much thinks that, well, the milk teeth are going to go anyways. So why do you really bother about learning as to how is it that you should clean them, and really teaching your children the importance of how important it is for them to be brushing every single time before they sleep, and how is it that they should properly be brushing in between all those cavities. So today we are going to be discussing all about the milk teeth and what are they, how are they defined, how is it that we should take care of them, and what is the true myths and perhaps the realities of the milk teeth. With us we have Dr. Mahmoud Allaham. He is a dentist specialist. So assalamu alaikum and good morning.
Alaikum salam, good morning.
So Dr. Mahmoud, we are speaking about milk teeth. We understand that milk teeth are the first teeth which actually appear.
Exactly.
So talk to us about how is it actually defined, and perhaps how can we really try and realize that the milk teeth are very important in our life.
The milk teeth first, it's start to erupt it from 6 months. You will find 2 small baby teeth, milky teeth, come in the lower anterior area, here in the front of the baby face, mandibular, exactly. Then start to eruption in the upper, the back, the upper. And we can careful about this, we should careful about this, because this teeth, it's like guide for the permanent teeth. When it's erupted and its alignment in healthy and clean, the permanent teeth will start to erupt it after 3 years. So you see it starts from 6 months to erupt it until it will leave for a long term, should be out, not less than 2 years. And careful about it should be by the mom from the first time, after a few days, from infant, when she gives the baby milk, swab the gum, the gingiva, by gauze, with gauze, yeah, to make it to erupt it easily and smoothly.
Right. And Dr. Mahmoud, I mean, like, you know, as you're just talking about it, that when the infants are very, very young, to be taking care and to be actually lightly massaging or cleaning actually their gum area with a gauze. Now, how often it is in your practice that you actually get to hear that mothers are doing that? How many of the females do you think are actually already careful